Who's there? Actually got the ball. Good afternoon, Tottenham fans. Welcome back to the Irish Hotspur, where, yes, with your boy Dave, like the Undertaker, I am back, baby. And I'm absolutely buzzing. Missing the last two games in bed, not a nice situation to be in. I always sat there and said, I wonder what it would like to be go back to watching the game on your own. And trust me, it's quite boring. It's not as relaxing as I thought it would be. You know, it's actually more therapeutic being on screen. But I am back. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody out there for all the well wishes, texts, and stuff like that. Really do appreciate it. The love is absolutely insane. But we've got a big game today. We need to try and win, put 3 wins on the bounce, build a little bit of momentum heading into the last, 12, 13 games of the season, and see what we can salvage from this Premier League campaign. As you can see, joined by a great, wonderful panel, as always, to discuss all things Tottenham, previewing this game and heading into it. So hopefully you guys out there tuning in do enjoy. If you've got any talking points you want to discuss, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll star what I can and introduce what I can as we go throughout. Let's go around the panel. Let's find out how everybody is, give you everything you need to know, and then let's crack on. Drew, how are you, my man? Feels like it was only about 8 hours ago I was speaking to you. How are you keeping, lad?
I'll tell you what, I'm seeing more of you than I am some of my local friends around here. And I'll tell you what, it's not a bad thing, man. It's not a bad thing. It's great to have you back, and it was a pleasure to be on screen with you last night. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. So backstage, I woke up a little bit prickly this morning, but looking forward to the game. The season starts here, man. No more excuses. Players are coming back. We should have learned our lesson from the first half of the season, and we know now what we've got to do to get the job done. So, yeah, very, very positive until there's no reason to be. Let's go.
We've got to try and put 3 points on the board and really try and drive on. There's no point in sitting here hating Tottenham, dwelling on our luck for the next 12 to 13 games. There's still quite some way to go. So we got to try and win games and you know, have something to get behind. And look, we still got the Europa League campaign. We'll go through people's thoughts on the draw. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen, you know, what side of the draw we're on, who we've got. So I want to know people's thoughts on that as well. But, you know, the season's still alive to a certain degree. So let's try and make the best of a bad situation. Dermatron, how are you keeping, my man?
A lot better than I felt last Sunday, to be fair. Like you, Dave, was brought down with this fucking bug. But like Spurs fans, you, me, like Irishmen, you, me, don't let it get to us. We keep battling on and we beat the fucker and we come back stronger. But like Tottenham will be. Tottenham have gone through their strife, their illness. They got players coming back now. I watched the Vicario documentary last night on Spurs Play. That really gave me a lot of inspiration for today and the weeks and the rest of the season. So let's do a Vicario. Let's be like him. Let's dust ourselves down. Let's start again, and we can have a great end of the season. Win the Europa League and get up high that league, and then Ange will be hero again, and nobody want him sacked. So come on, you Spurs.
How long is the documentary, Dermo?
Pardon?
How long is the documentary?
It was on YouTube. It's on for about 16, 17 minutes. But it's
not
really, yeah, but you know what I mean. It was a short documentary.
No, I'll give that a watch today. Thank you for letting
me know. It really inspired me to be better as a Spurs fan, to see him and like his inspiration knows whole bands. I love Vicario. I really do. I think it's our best keeper since Ray Clements and freaking Ray Clements and Bill Brown. He's in my top 3.
Well, it's a shame he didn't inspire you enough to turn up here in full goalkeeper kit and gloves. But look, I'll definitely give it a watch. You know, I can't wait.
How do you know I haven't got them on, Dave? How do you know I haven't got them on already?
Look, I don't want to know what sick games you're playing there, Dermo. You know, keep them to yourself.
You're just
Donovan. All right, sorry, Dermo.
I said that's just you having a dirty mind, Dave. But that's nothing unusual with you.
Just quickly, Dermo, Rayman says, quick question for Dermo. How does he feel about others predicting a bigger score for Spurs today? Does he want to change his prediction?
Yeah, I'm going for a 5-0 Spurs win.
As you can see, Rayman hates to be outdone. Big up, Dermo. Good to see you. Smiles on faces, as always. Last but not least, all the way to Canada, Donovan, how are you keeping, sir?
Good. 25% here of the screen. Yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm looking forward to this momentum and our sale. I'm looking forward to seeing Liam Dunlop again. to see if he's not injured, hopefully. And I know we'll talk about Vicario. We have a whole couple hours to chat about Tottenham. But leading on from what Dermot was saying there, yeah, Vicario looking unreal against Liverpool there. So it's good to see him thrusted right back into action and his body uphold with it, because if you look at that save and then just vice versa, Anana making that same save and then it's a tapping for Maddison, and the difference of levels of quality, right? Like one pairing it to like an area and just it comes in instincts, right? So super stoked to be on a show. Thanks for having us back. And yeah, you pretty much nailed it on the head there, Dave. It is therapeutic to be back on screen, because like when you do go through the rough times, it's easier to do it together rather than alone, and having like Dermo and you guys around to like really, kind of wrap our head around it. Some call it happy clapping, but really it's like we're trying to make the best of a bad situation. Like what are we bottom half of the table. So I'm thinking hopefully people are saying best case scenario, top 5 finish. I'm thinking maybe hopefully top 8. So let's start with a win today. Let's go.
No, we have to. Do you know what it was, Donovan? I was just always, I've been saying to Jack for a while now, just wonder what it'd be like just to go back out of the firing line, watch the game on the couch, away from everything. And, I wonder, would I enjoy it again, sort of to a large degree? And I just sat there very lonely, to be quite frank. I felt like, I was missing something. So, that experiment is done and dusted. I found out I'd much rather be here with all you guys, even if you do give me stick in the chat, I'd much rather be here with all of you guys. Let's give everybody everything they need to know, and then let's welcome in the chat. Everything you need to know, of course, we are playing at Portman Road today, 3 p.m. kickoff. Referee is Tim Robinson, and in the VAR room it is Chris Kavanagh. Dark Sun G, if you're out there, let us know if there's anything we need to be wary of heading into this game with this two corrupt pair. And then if you want to watch the game in the UK and Ireland, you can't, which is why you need to get your NordVPN, guys, so that you can bounce your location, get over there and watch the game somewhere else, which will plug a bit later on in the stream. And then in the USA, you can watch it on NBC Sports, and in Australia is on Optus Sports. And usually, I would say 7 injuries is quite a lot, but compared to Tottenham's record this season, it's actually quite good. I'm glad to see that list is getting smaller and smaller. At one stage, I had to fill out the other side of the graphic and forget about the opposition injuries. So we have Romero, Dragosin, and Van de Ven all out. Updates on Romero and Van de Ven. Postecoglou hoping they'll be back for the AZ Alkmaar game for Europe. Then you've got Werner out, which I don't think anybody classifies as a player missing anymore. I think most people are done with him. And then Solanke and Richarlison are still out, which we could do with one of them back. For Ipswich, they're missing Tuan Zabi. He's suspended. And Ciso has been a good signing for them. He's out. Burns, Irish guy Ogbene, he's out. And Walton is out as well. So that's everything you need to know. Let's welcome people in at home, and then let's crack on and talk about basically what our expectations is between now and the end of the season and stuff like that. A lot to talk about today. We've got Drew. Welcome everybody in. He's always here first. I absolutely love that. So guys, that's your aim next week. Try and be in here before Drew. Let's see who can be number one. We've got William Webb. He says, big up Dave and Jack. 2-0 win tonight. And another clean sheet. Look, another clean sheet would be absolutely brilliant. That would be 3 on the bounce as well, which would be nice. We've got Green Badge says, come on, you Spurs. Great to see you. We've got Spurs Psych in the house. Afternoon all. We'll secretly watch you and the match while I'm at work. Come on, you Spurs. I really appreciate that, my man. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Look, don't be getting yourself sacked. Don't be getting yourself in trouble. But you know what? I think this is where a lot of... I just don't think football fans should be working weekends. I think when you go into a job interview, it should be like, do you support a team? And as soon as they say yes, right, you're Monday to Friday. I don't think it's right. So I think what we need to do is actually sit down with your boss, to be quite frank. We've got Jail Bingen Viking. I mean, that's a mouthful, but I've managed it. Says, get Liam Delap in the door during the summer. I mean, I fully agree with you. I really like this player. Really like what he's about. You know, a young guy. Already got 10 plus goals for Ipswich, which is huge for a player like him down at Ipswich Town, down in the relegation battle. And not only that, you know, he's just an absolute handful. I think he does everything outside the box, inside the box, scores goals, lays off balls, plays others in. I think he's a fantastic player. We've got Swim Master says, come on, you Spurs, more points for the league. Upward drive. Well, that's it. That's what we need. Good to see you, Swim Master. Hopefully you're keeping well. We've also got Rayman. Right, folks, let's do this. Big up, Ray, man. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. We've also got Spurs GCTV. Good afternoon, gents. Let's go. Come on, you Spurs. Great to see you. We've also got Ribeye 85 in the house. Great to see you. We need to get you back on at some point as well, Ribsy, and hear what you have to say about Tottenham and what's going on. Hopefully you and, the family and life is keeping well, Ribsy. Good to see you, buddy. And we've got Slim Boy Tubbs, the Oxymoron. Big up, one and all. Come on, you Spurs. Let's welcome a few more in. We've got Mark Nooses, big up Dave and Jack. It's game day and time for the pump up. Injured players are coming back. Bench is getting stronger. Get in there, you Tottenham. Welcome back, Dave. Legend, come on, you Spurs. Really appreciate that. No, it's nice to see the bench getting fuller. I mean, it was embarrassing when you look over and you see the injury bench fuller than our sub bench. I just like the fact that we've now got options off the bench that we can turn to. I think hopefully, you're not abusing your players and making them play every 3 days, which means then when the games come about, they're fresher. Why do I keep saying that? I had to edit that out of my predicted line like 4 times. Fresher, for when these games come around. We've got Lupercal in the house. Big up, Dave. Glad you're looking better on paper. Should be an easy 3 points, but we're Spurs, so who knows? Come on, you MFing Spurs. You know what? Some people are saying I'm looking paler and stuff like that, so I don't really know where I am right now, to be honest with you. But look, at least I'm back. That's the main thing, Lupercal. Good to see you. Look, on paper, if only football was played on paper, sometimes we wouldn't suffer half of these heartaches that we do against some of the shitter teams in the league, my man. We've got Dark Stone Jesus. Come on, you Spurs. Let's win today. Hopefully, Wilson and Adoji plays for 10 to 15 minutes today. Also, I want to see Johnson start at right wing today and hope Vic keeps a clean sheet. Do you know what, Dark Zone G? Look, obviously I want another clean sheet for Vicario. I think he'll come back with a point to prove. I wonder how much does he feel a bit disrespected, by people jumping on the Kinski train and stuff like that, almost forgetting about him. I wonder will he come back with an even bigger point to prove. So I really do hope that Vicario keeps a clean sheet, because I've always said this about him. I think he's one of the best shot stoppers in the league or in world football. So it's great to have him back. When you look at Kinski, I think a lot of his all-round game is solid. But in, a lot of games recently, there was some shots he should have saved. And I think, that opened the door for Vicario to come straight back in and made it a bit easier for him to a degree. In terms of Brennan Johnson, look, I think most people know my feelings on the kid. I don't think he's good enough to be at Tottenham Hotspur moving forward. However, what I will say is when Kulusevski plays through that middle, Johnson does look a lot better, and Johnson does get provided with a few more chances. So I think that call really depends on Kulu playing the number 8, which we have to have a conversation about today, because I think with the next 13 games, we have to try and nail down one position for Kulu to start excelling in. I get he's young, but you can't keep using him all over the pitch to plug in gaps. In order for him to kick on and in order to get the best out of him going forward, you need to nail down one position that he's comfortable in and use him there. So we have to have a conversation around that today, Dark Song G. Look, in terms of Wilson Odegaard, I'm absolutely buzzing to have the kid back. I really like him. He's direct, he's quick, takes people on. The only thing is he's still a little bit raw in terms of when it comes to that final ball. So let's wait and see. But I am excited to have Wilson Odegaard back, Dark Sunji. Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well, sir. Let's keep cracking on. Dark Sunji also says, David, how does it feel to almost have a full squad? Do you know what? It almost made me nauseous, Dark Sunji. I nearly had to go back to the sick bed again. I come back and we've almost got a full squad. I couldn't believe my eyes, I felt almost embarrassed yesterday when I was doing my predicted lineup, when I sat there and said, we have the luxury not to rush players back. I couldn't believe what the words were coming out of my mouth. Luxury and Tottenham Hotspur don't usually go together, Dark Sun G. So good to see you, my man. We've also got Georgie Hill in the house with an ominous gong and the lights going out. The biggest return of the season is here. The legend Davy Boy is back. Big up, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Irish Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. Do you know what, Georgie Hill? Look, really appreciate it, my man. Look, I didn't know people would miss me and all, but, anytime I did pop in, people were like, Can't wait to see you back and all. So I think the well wishes are really nice. And thank you very much, everybody. It really means a lot. In terms of legend, look, I think that's pushing the boat. Some people, a lot more people would probably call me a moron. So I really appreciate the support, George Hill. Very, very nice of you, my man. And look, I am back and I'm excited to be back. Big yourself up. Hopefully you're keeping well. Let's keep cracking on and welcome people in. We've got Charlie Rudge. Oh, by the way, George Hill, you haven't sent in a fan count in a while. Let's get back to doing them, my man. George Rogers says, Dermo and Dave like Undertaker and Paul Bearer back from the brink. Go on, you Spurs. We've got George Curtis. Spurs are back in my accumulator today. Better win. Look, I've learned a lesson quite some time ago. Take the team you support out of your accumulators because you're always going to be a little bit biased. We've got Brecken in the house. Great to see you. Big up Dave, Drew, Donovan, and Dermot. Hope you're all feeling better now, Dave. I'm back, my man. I'm well and truly back and here to stay. Big up, Brecken. Really good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. David Granola, best keeper since Espen Barsden. Good to see you. We've got J Mac in the house as always. Great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well, sir. Finn Rickwood, good to see you as always. Hopefully you're keeping well. K32 says, hello, Dave, Jack, Dermot, and Drew. Just finished work. Hope everyone is well. Big win for Spurs today. 3-0. Just finished up on the farm, are you, K32? I presume most Irish people work on farms, so let me know. We've got Excel. I don't know why people lost hope, but check the league. We can get top 8. Well, look, we're going to have a conversation around that in just a moment, my man. Skunk Works, great to see you as always. Hopefully you're keeping well. We also have True Pack in the house. Good to see you, Elvis G. Great to see you, sir. We've got Lee Moody in the house. Great to see you, Lee. Hopefully you're keeping well. Alberto, good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well as well. We've also got the best winger, second best winger, Eddie. Good to see you. We've got Kate Ricks and Dave and Panel. Think it's going to be a hard game if Maddison is out there. No creativity again. Yeah, I've seen a rumor going around that maybe Maddison is injured for this game. So let's wait and see. But yeah, look, we'll have to have a conversation around that as well, around James Maddison. So my problem is with James Maddison, and I think, I said it in my pre-match predicted lineup, I think maybe he takes the criticism the wrong way. Like, the thing is, the likes of Roy Keane, Simon Jordan, people like me wouldn't criticize him if we didn't believe he could be that player that we're asking him to be. And sometimes I think maybe he needs to recognize that rather than go, they're just digging me out, because it feels like James Maddison performs when he's got a point to prove. But the reality is we need it week in, week out, or as much as we possibly can. And hopefully he can realize that and take his game to that next level. Good to see you. Big up, Kate. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Kate Rickson, great to see you. We've got Cantab in the house. Good to see you, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well. Along with Danny Darko. Cantab as well. Good to see you. Make sure we're not missing anyone. Terry Betts, great to see you. Hollywood Hotspur, as always. Back on my feet now, thank God. Good to see you. Tottenham Tom, great to see you as well. Bjorn Wendell, great to see you, Bjorn. Out of the great ABBA. We've got El Dante in the house as well. Good to see you. We've got Aussie Hotspur. Hopefully we can move Kulu permanently into midfield once we get everyone backing up. Look, I think that's his best position personally. So let's wait and see. Big up Mr. Hall as well. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Look, stronger, and hopefully Tottenham are stronger off the back of it, my man. Hopefully. And then we got a couple more chats and then we are going to crack on. Dark Song G says, for Europa is our best 11. Vic, Spence, Cutie, Van de Ven, and Dogie. Bentancur, Maddison, Kulu. And then Son, Dom and Johnson, maybe Taylor Odeber. If so, should we rest them for the Premier League? Do you know what? I think on terms of the fullbacks, I think that's something that will definitely excite people. I think defensively, I think it suits us more if we could get to that situation. I think then you lay down the marker at Porro's door and ask him to improve defensively. But do you know what? Having these options at fullbacks, being able to have these discussions is where we want to be. Competition at this club is what will drive this football club forward. At the end of the day, we shouldn't be scared of competition. We should be embracing it. It's what's going to bring the best out of everybody. So it's good that we're in that situation in terms of fullbacks. I think midfield, do we have to look at that maybe come the summer, a little bit of a revamp there? I think maybe so. I think a lot of people are maybe saying that as well. In terms of the forward line, I just worry, about the clinicalness of it. Again, I think we still have to go there in the summer and look to address it, Dark Song G. But look, telling who the bird definitely provide a spark, that's for sure. Again, just, raw like I keep talking about this, but you look at Tell, even all the Burn games he's played this season, in the moment where you need that calmness, they tend to snatch out a lot of things. And that's what you get with younger players. So hopefully, over the next, between now and the end of the season, you can see them maybe mature a little bit in terms of their game. Daxon G says also, we only won one game out of 4 when Robertson is ref. All 4 games were away. The only game we won was 2-0 against Bournemouth. So not good. We don't really have a great record is what you're telling us with Tim Robertson in charge. So maybe there's a little bit of corruption going on here. Maybe something that we need to delve into a little bit deeper, because one thing I've done finding you, Dark Zone G, or you finding me, whatever way we want to put it, I think it's definitely reconfirmed that, people say I have a conspiracy theory, but I do think it's true about referees, anti-Tottenham. And I think you've definitely confirmed that to me with all the stats that you do bring me. And then we've got El Dante, member for 6 months. Come on, you Spurs, 3 points today. We owe Ipswich 1-3-1. That we definitely do. It's about revenge today. Look, it's the Tractor Boys. We got to beat them. We have to beat the Tractor Boys today. We got to take the diesel out of their engine. Good to see you, Al Dante. Hopefully you're keeping well. Oh, guys, it's absolutely great to be back. My God, have I missed this? But look, let's crack on. Let's crack straight into it. We've got enough to talk about today. And I sort of want to just kick off the discussions. And we'll start with you, Drewy boy.
Yep.
Look, no getting away from it. It's been a disappointing season so far. We're out of the boat, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. We've only got 2 competitions left to play for in the Premier League and the Europa League as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're currently 12th place in the Premier League, 13 points off European qualification. But in the Europa League, we're in the last 16, of course. But what are your expectations for Spurs for the rest of this campaign, both in the Premier League and the Europa League? What would you consider a successful outcome from here? Now, anybody out there, I don't want to hear you moaning going in, you're losers talking about this. Reality is we're dealing with the situation where we are now and what can be achievable or limited success between now and the end of the season. And guys, get your answers in at home. Let me know what you think is acceptable between now and the end of the season, because it's a bit of a tough one to know and navigate. So Drew, over to you, my man.
I tell you what, Dave, if I'm brutally honest with you, there's 2 ways of looking at it. There's what do I want? What would I like ideally to happen, and what would I accept, I guess. I'd like us to finish as high as possible in the league, and I'd like us to win the Europa League. And I think with the right mix of planetary alignment and players coming back and being able to not necessarily hit the ground running, but as close to as possible, like Udogie's been, potentially ready for the Man United game, wasn't played because we didn't absolutely need to play him. And I like the idea of being able to drip feed players back in. If we get VDV and Romero and they can give us consistent 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 performances for the rest of the year, and they can be a cohesive unit, there is no reason why we can't finish top half, 7th or 8th. And honestly, I believe go on and win the European Cup. What do I think would be acceptable? Good performances, a team that looks like it's heading in the right direction. I would like us to go unbeaten in the league, even if it means having to take a couple of draws that we'd like to be wins. And even if we got to the final of the cup, as much as it would break my heart to lose another final, I would still consider that. Right, it would crush me. It would crush me. But I would still consider that progress, and I really, at this point, given how atrocious the season's been, this last third of the season has really just got to be about looking like we're actually all going in the same fucking direction. Do you know what I mean? Like, this season has just been so much people taking chunks out of each other because of this, that, or the other. And I just think, for me personally, it's not just down to us. This is down to the players very much so, to show us that they are actually all still on board this. Because what's the point in me being on board the Ange train if they're not? Do you know what I mean? Like, I want this to work. So I'm all about just, if I can see that we're all starting to come back. The injuries are gone. We've gone past this hump, and we actually look like a team again on the back end of this. Man, I hate it, but I'll take like 10th and get into the final. But I genuinely believe that with this team, I think that I can just see the potential to do something. I really can. And I don't know. I might be fucking Looney Tunes. Everybody else might think different, but if we can pull together as a team and those guys can pull off some performances, which we all know they're capable of individually. If they can actually be a fucking team for 2 months, then we can do so.
And I think, look, I think we have to a large degree. I think them players have to pull together because, Postecoglou has always sort of reiterated in his press conference when the players come back. So now that they are back, I do think the pressure is on for them to deliver some consistency between now and the end of the season for sure. Look, for me, I think, get yourself back in the top half of the Premier League, achieve, a respectable finish compared to where we were, and try and get to the Europa League final or semi-final and see what can happen from there. But for me, I just want to end the season in a good way for once. You look at the seasons that we've had in years gone by, I think most of them, bar one since Pochettino, have sort of all ended in travesty or in and around headlines and stuff like that. For me, I just want to have a strong end to the season, finish well, so that then over the summer and heading into next season, you've got that optimism there. You've sort of got that expectation there that this team can hit the ground running, because in years gone by, you're going into the season with a lot of unknowns. It's hard to predict what Tottenham are going to do because of the way we finished the season before. So I think just for once, it would actually really be nice to finish the season on a high and on a good run for once, Drew.
Well, on that point, Dave, and this is the thing, and even I'm guilty of it. So please don't, chat. Everybody, don't think that I'm this isn't directed at anybody in particular. But even I've been guilty of sort of looking at the situation and going, it's just, ugh. But we're not going to get any better than this season. But the fact is, if you look at the beginning of last season with the 10-game run that we went on, there's nothing to say. I mean, you can look at it positively, you can look at it negatively, but there's nothing to say that we couldn't potentially go on a run like that for the last 10 games of this season. Now, again, that could be me just happy clapping. That could be me just in la land. But I would rather be in that land than just sit here and go, it's not possible, we're not going to do it. Because it's just wasted energy week on week, right? I'm kind of in that mindset. I'm in the zone, Dave. There's something brewing. I can feel it in my bones, and I'm going to let the other two chat because I feel like I've just been waffling. Big up, lads. Big up, boys.
No, absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Just quickly, we'll take a few comments off the back of what you're saying, and then we'll get Dermot and Donovan in as well on what they think is a good acceptable finish. Dark Song G says top 8 in Europa win because it shows we got top 8 with playing with an average of 14 to 15 men squad for half the season. I mean, that would definitely be a triumph. That's for sure, Dark Song G. Shikari Shock says, so nice to see you back, Dave. I hope you're in good health. I'm good, my man. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Rainman says, what Drew was saying, we need to have a cultural reset and get ready for the summer and next season after winning the Europa. That would be nice. Joff has gone with a top 10 finish. Joe Bloggs says, Eden and gents, if we get to the final, we have to win or it's a disaster. J Max says, I'm with Drew. Hopefully, reaching the final and finishing in the league outside of that, seeing us playing football without our foot on teams' necks. I mean, that's another thing. I would like to see us play some exhilarating football as well. That would be nice. Joe Blogg says top 6 would be okay. Aussie Hotspur says if we can win Europa, it wouldn't worry me where we finish so long as it's not relegation. But if we get top 10 and either semi or the final Europa, it would be good given the injuries. So fair play. And then we've got Shikari Shock. I'm confident we will win the Europa. Every team left in our side of the draw are beatable. Lazio may be the trickiest. We'd beat United in the final. We'd be so much hungrier than them. So that's an absolute fair point. So it sort of reflects where people are at. Keep getting in the answer to the, your answers to the question on, what is a respectable finish for you guys between now and the end of the season? Because the reality is we can't just sit here and hate and grate on Tottenham Hotspur. It's still a third of the season to go. Still got to try and salvage what we can. Dermo, what's respectable for you? Oh, you're on mute, man.
Mute.
Top 7 and a Europa League win for me.
Someone said Dermot being mute is the most exhilarating stuff he said in a long time. I don't know with you, Dermot, honestly. What's the respectable finish?
I think top 7. I think we can get top 7.
Top 7, Dermot.
Yeah, I think we can.
Let me look at the Premier League table.
Yeah, I was just pulling up the table as well.
You're 13 points behind a European place. And then all them teams have to play some other teams. So them teams will drop points a long way to the end of the season. So if we go in this 10 or 11 game unbeaten run, which will replicate what we started last season with, then you're looking at top 7.
I love this.
The Europa League win draw, I think, is opened up very kindly for us. Lazio will be the trickiest, but I think we can beat Lazio. And this comment someone said about us being more hungrier than Man United, I don't subscribe to that. United will be just as hungry to win that final as we are. They're going through a hell of a season too, and I'm sure them players will be hungry to give their fans something at the end of the season as much as we are, as much as our players would be. But I'm going for it. I think we have to get some European football. If Tottenham Hotspur are not in Europe, then Tottenham Hotspur is nowhere. We're a big club. We have to have European football. We demand it. We demand it as a club.
He's right.
we as a club, we demand European football. And we cannot go through it. When we didn't have European football, Dave, how many times did you and me say to each other, we're bored midweek?
Yeah.
We're bored. And once we get European football, there's some people out there, we don't want European football, it's boring. Well, go and support fucking Southampton then. Or go and support fucking QPR. They don't have any European football, and get on their train. Look, you've got to be optimistic. I've been a Spurs fan for over 40 years, 44 years, 45 years next August. It's my second love. So we've been to Champions League finals, Dave, you and me. We saw the quarterfinal against AC Milan. Yeah. European nights under the lights at the Lane is something very, very special. I don't care what it is. And it's 41 years this year since we last won the UEFA Cup, which is now the Europa League, when we beat Anderlecht in that final. And any time we do badly in the league, Spurs win a cup. 1991, we finished 10th. We won an FA Cup. 1981, we finished in top 10 or 11th. We won the FA Cup. Only a few seasons we finished in the top 5. We won an FA Cup and the UEFA Cup. 1999, we were woeful in the league. We won the League Cup. 2008, we were a crap in the league. Won a trophy.
Yeah.
So it can be done. And I keep saying it, and I will bang it on, and I will follow the legend that is Bill Nick, Mr. Tottenham. If Spurs are not in Europe, we're nowhere. We're nothing. And he said that, not me. Bill Nick said that, Mr. Tottenham. So if it's good enough for him to say, it's good enough for me to follow. And we have to be optimistic. We have to think high. You have to think higher than what you can. Tottenham Hotspur's not just a fucking. It's not just about, we're not going to get nowhere. Get behind the team, get behind the manager, get behind the club. Let's do this, because together we can do everything. We can get everywhere. So that's my rant. I'm sorry. Now I'm waffling.
No, look, I agree. I think you should always look to try and, look, the aim should be you want to win every single game. Now, of course, that's not going to happen. But if you aim high, usually you get closer to them targets. So I do think that should be the aim. Although I think it's delusional, Darmo. And look, we're going to get into the comments, because there is some comments there for you. So we're going to bring them in, and then we're going to pivot to Donovan, and then we'll find out what Donovan thinks, and also what sort of European competition. What should we prioritize? Should it be trying to get European qualification through the league, or should we prioritize Europe? So we'll get to Donovan on that in just a moment. Wembley once this afternoon, boys. We'll be interested to see how a full 6 days off between games will benefit us energy-wise. That's one thing I'm looking forward to, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Hopefully there's a bit of zip about us, a lot more energy in and out of possession as well. That would be nice, Wembley 1. We've got Paul Van Beek. I so want us to win the Europa League so I can have a tattoo of UEFA Cup. I was too young to have it done last time. I was 9 in 1984.
I was 7.
Nowadays, people do what they want. I don't think you're too old nowadays to get a tattoo, to be honest with you. I think that's probably the age people start getting them now, to be quite frank. But look, Paul, it would be nice. Look, I was speaking to Shawnee last night. I was like, do you know what? I'm getting old. I've got health complications. The reality is, I don't know how long I'm going to last on this planet. I'm so starving just to have that one day where I can just sit there and be high on life, celebrating Tottenham winning another trophy. That would be nice, Paul. We've got Rich Esmond in the house. I'm expecting better from form in the league, but not sure it will be any better than the inconsistency we've shown before the injuries, in my opinion. Also think only a Europa win saves the manager's job. Well, that'll be interesting. Actually, maybe that's something we'll ask the panel as well, off the back of that. So I'm going to keep that one starred, Rich. Good to see you. We've got Bjorn Wendas says all eggs should be put in the Europa League basket, win the trophy, and secure Champions League that way. That would be nice. We've got the Spurcrow. Absolutely love that name. It's not so much about specific results, but I want to see us getting back on track to seeing the team improving and giving everything to win like we were before the injuries. Do you know what? I do agree. I think, our play has to look a lot better. It's got to be a lot more exhilarating. We've got to break teams down with a lot more ease and stuff like that. There has to be improvements like that for sure. Jack says, hello, Spurs fans. How are we today? Start my weekend being happy, please. Come on, you Spurs. I mean, that's the aim every weekend. It doesn't always pivot like that. Dermot has turned Joff to his way of thinking. 13 points, less than I thought. Big up Joff. So he's with Dermo. We've got DB. Afternoon, all DB. It's absolutely great to see you back, my man. And again, really appreciate the love you've been showing me, my man. So absolutely great to see you back. Wembley 1 says, sorry, Dermo, you're in Dream World. There are several cast iron defeats on the cards for us. The rest of the way in the league, we will do exceedingly well to finish top 10. DB also says, just jumped in. Is Dermo a massive Ange fan now? Just catching up. Well, I mean, Dermo, I think that's an important question. Where are you on Ange this week? You're on mute, lad.
Ange watch.
I've always wanted something to get behind with Ange. I've never been Ange out fully. I've heard it after the defeats at Arsenal and Liverpool. They really hurt me. And you say things when you hurt and you don't really mean them. But for me, I've always wanted Ange to work because I've seen what he could do at Celtic. I don't know what you two laugh. Every time I speak, people just laugh.
You sound like a jilted lover.
Yeah. You just do things when you're hurting.
I'm just here for the comedy value. I swear to God. I swear to God, I'm just here for the comedy value. No, but look, I just wanted something to get behind. And we've got to get either Ange in or Ange out. We have to get behind the team and the manager now. But yes, I've always been Ange in, always has been, always will be. I just needed something to get behind, to grab onto, to say this is why I'm Ange in.
No, so absolutely fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. And look, no, we weren't laughing at you. I just thought what you said was funny. Look, when you're hurting,
I know that's what I've said. That's why I've said
I'm
here for the comedy value. That's why I said it, because I know I'm here for the comedy value.
But big up, DB, absolutely brilliant. Good to see you as well, King Hod. This is good afternoon. Given the unprecedented injury crisis, in my view, even 2 semi-finals and a top half finish cannot be considered disastrous. Disappointing, yes, but contextually understandable. So big yourself up. And then we also have Luke Thomas says, getting very close to full strength. Now that we are, very exciting times. Donovan, on to you though, my man. I mean, again, for you, you've heard the two boys, they're sort of in agreement here. Maybe a Europa League win or a push to the final would be nice. And a top half finish. Where are you at? What do you think is achievable with the circumstances around Tottenham Hotspur? What is achievable to you? And, should we be prioritizing one competition over another, or now that, should we just be going gung-ho for both?
Yeah. So it's like everyone looks at the best case scenario we have now. Like I didn't even think top 6 is was a realistic possibility, and everyone's like, we get top 6 and the UEFA Cup. But that's like playing perfect football for like 90 minutes of every single game going forward, and that's just not sustainable. And like, even called out Dermo just for being that level delusional thing that could even happen. And these players are giving us eights, sevens maybe to have perfect 8s and 9s for the rest of the season. No way. But at least whatever happens, this recruitment has put in a place where the next manager, if there is a next manager, has a talented group of players that he can work with. Like Jed Spence, and like, what a talent. Like, this guy's unreal. This guy is unreal. And if Udogie, this surgery worked, and we have the destiny Udogie of the past, and Danzo seems to be good at the back there. So I want the UEFA Cup. I want to win it. But for the league, I mean, if we win the cup, I'll take a top 10 finish. Like, I'll take 10th in the UEFA Cup. But like I said, we've almost played ourselves into the corner of like, we have to play perfect football now for the rest of the season. And it sucks because the players like McTell, who comes in, and it's like, now they have this new experience. And maybe it helps their career, because he did say he has to become a man. He has to find his own career. Maybe this is part of his career, helping a struggling Premier League club, and he becomes that person. But it wouldn't surprise me if Dunlap outclassed him today, just based off of how like the system works and how he came up through the English system. And Bayern's a good system, but how good is their academy compared to like an English academy, right? And like, other clubs wanted Dunlap before he went to Ipswich, right? Like, I know that for a fact. So, but a nice trip to Bilbao would be nice. I think that's where it is. This year. So, anyone can say top 6 in the UEFA Cup, but realistically, top 10. But we have to win a cup, and if we don't, I think Ange is gone, and I think then it's just kind of back to square one. But not really back to square one, because we don't have a rotting club and a rotting core anymore. We have a rejuvenated squad. But but if he does win a cup, then it's like a natural goodbye for not just him, like a lot of players. Like, I could see us cashing out on Son as well. I could see Ange keeping his perfect trophy record. He can go off somewhere else and coach. I don't know. The World Cup's good then, so. But we need to win a cup, that's for sure. Not just because he said it, because just for his like, I mean, I said I'd give my second opinion on Ange after the Liverpool game, and now I guess I kind of am now. I'm on the spot now, and then I'm letting all these thoughts process, because it's been like, it's kind of ducking and weaving and bobbing. Like, no, man, I don't really. But we looked so toothless against Liverpool, man, and that was tough to see. Like, you're supposed to get us over these lines. You're supposed to be over the game. I know we have an injury crisis, and I know we don't have Romero or Van de Ven or Solanke or Richarlison fit for the whole game. Like, and the fact that Van Dijk got away with an elbow, right? Like, but the Gulf of Cost was there for everyone to see, and it's like, you're supposed to get us over the line. And then the next day to get knocked out against Aston Villa, the next day out, right? So we didn't even have a chance to grieve. Boom, next thing you know, we're out of 2 competitions. So it's all on the line on the Europa League. But as Spurs fans, we've been there, done that. And like, we've almost been there, done that on a higher level with the Champions League. Nobody thought we could go on that run. We did, and we did. We put a good team together. We put a good run together. And these players are individually almost better than some of those players on the team. So it's a lesser competition too. So I guess a long answer too is that this reflects next season too. Like, I want us to be in Champions League next year, and we can't play ourselves in the league next year in Champions League. We're like, we're not going to get there in the league, so we have to win the cup. So it just comes down to this must-win cup. You have to win this cup.
Look, I think to get anywhere back into Europe next season, I honestly don't think we'll achieve it through the league. I think too much is gone by now. I think when you look at it, even if we are flawless, you're looking at other teams losing 5-6 out of the last 13 games, and it's very hard to say that, teams that have been up there consistently this season are going to do that, or enough teams for us to be able to make up that gap. So on that basis, I think, I'm resigned to accepting, look, it's not going to happen through the league. However, do I want to try and finish inside the top 10 and just put a little bit more respect on the name than what's been on it in previous? Yes, of course I do. Of course, it's not success, but it's best possible case scenario from where we were. So therefore, I do think, our European qualification solely hinges on that Europa League run, that Europa League Cup. And I think we've got to put all our eggs in that basket. You know, if them games do come around, I think they have to take priority. Personally, you've got to try and achieve, European finish. We'll get on to, what players may be playing for the future and what Ange needs to achieve to maybe give himself next season. We'll go around the panel, find out. I just want to take a few more comments here from the chat. We've got Q7 says, salute to all the panel. To be honest, if we won Europa and finished where we are now, I wouldn't complain. I need to see good performances, though, not just results. And look, I think I'm absolutely in agreement with you. We have to see Tottenham start performing, getting on the ball, playing good passes, good free-flowing moves, not like lethargic or making football look as hard as we've made it look, so far this season. We do really have to see an uplift in terms of performances, commitment to what they're being asked to do, execution to what they're being asked to do, to say, do you know what? Let's give this a chance heading into next season. I definitely agree with that. And, of course, the Europa League as well. Big up, Q7. Good to see you. Really appreciate support, and hopefully you're keeping well, lad. And we've also got AK Shags in the house, says rest everyone for AZ Alkmaar. Good to see you. Moss Chops driving back from Poland and listening to the show. Birthday today. Come on, you Spurs, and happy birthday, Moss Chops. Hopefully you have a great day, great celebration, and hopefully Tottenham does not ruin it for you. I would think Moondog, his son, his birthday was ruined. The North London Derby, Darmo's birthday, I think, was ruined as well. Yeah. So, hopefully you can enjoy yours today, my man. Hopefully we can get the result. Bob Down Under, hopefully you're keeping well. It's great to see you. Says, I'm just excited that tonight's lineup will not be just be last man standing. Will actually require selection. Hope you're feeling better, David. You know what, Bob? I think many people absolutely agree with this statement right here. It's not just who's fit, who can we patch up and send out there. Genuinely, you can look at it and go, right, he's better. He can perform. So you're absolutely spot on there. Ugly Fish, great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Paul Bean says, surely we can win the Europa if we get back to full strength and just have a little look, but also I think holding your bottle, in the likes of your semi-finals, quarter-finals to get there, I think is absolutely important as well. We've got Terry Wright. Good to see you, Terry. Hopefully you're keeping well, man. We've got Tony Rodriguez in the house, says, we're not winning the Europa League. If you still are Ange in, football is not for you. I hope this helps. Doesn't really help, to be honest with you, Tony. Look, I understand that, like the point that you're trying to make. That look, from what we've seen, it's very hard to sort of get behind Ange Postecoglou. I fully maybe understand that point. I do think there's a better way of communicating it, though, Tony. And but look, each to their own, my man. I'm not going to tell people how to support this club. I don't think anyone should. So let's just wait and see. I think, look. Naturally, more and more people will fall to either side depending on results. So let's wait and see what happens, Tony. We've got Long Check One in the house. In Ange we trust. That's definitely going to piss off Tony. And then we also have Paddy Harney in the house. And he says, afternoon, folks. Hope you're all well and good to see you back, Davey.
Brilliant.
A win today is a must, but it's going to be hard and very hard at that. Up the Spurs and up the Strawberry Pickers. Do you know what, Paddy? It's not going to be an easy game. Look, Ipswich are scrapping for their life, right? I think also when every team fancies turning Tottenham over right now. So, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be tough, but this is a situation we put ourselves in, and the only way of getting out of it is by fighting, is by playing well. So we got to do that today. Not going to be easy, but we got to keep this momentum going, Paddy. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well down there in Limerick. But look, let's crack on. I mean, Drew, we'll go to you just quickly, my man. I mean,
yes, mate.
There's a lot of debate about what Ange needs to do between now and the end of the season to even see a third season. What do you think we need to see to keep Ange in the job for next season?
Do you know what? While the other guys were talking, I was just pulling up some information on my phone. And for me, looking back across the season, yes, it's been atrocious. But I don't know. For me personally, I just see silver linings. Like, I've got all the stats up here for the losses against Newcastle, the loss against Arsenal, the draw against Leicester, first game of the season, even the loss to Brighton. And if you go over those matches and you look at the stats, I mean, look, the 2-1 to Newcastle, we had 20 shots to their 9. Although, you know, both teams didn't do very well with actual shots on target,
Yeah.
but we still had 6 to their 3. We had 66% possession. We had 500 passes to their 261. We had 84% possession to their 70. Like, this just
Is that not the problem right there, though, Drew? You know, the amount of passes compared to them, but it's what we actually do with possession.
I mean, I would... for me, when I remember seeing that game, I remember us being all over them and kind of pinning them in for a large part of it. So I mean, there are ways of looking at it. I mean, I guess you can build the stats to not saying that you are, but you can look at the stats and kind of build any sort of narrative you want, I suppose. But like even the 1-0 loss to Arsenal, we had 15 shots to 7. We had 5 shots. They had 4 shots on target. So, I mean, there's like, you know, there was a shot difference. We had 64% possession to their 36, 494 passes to their 282, 88% pass accuracy to their 75. So, I mean, for me personally, I just look at things like that and I look at how early in a rebuild we are, coming into a whole new way of playing, right? We had a dodgy 2, 3, 4 years, whatever you want to call it, with pragmatic managers that wanted to play a different way. And we were all on board, like a change in ethos and a different direction. And just the guy has had to witness the better part of 30, 35 players in and out of the club. And other than car crashes like Chelsea and Manchester United, like the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal over that time and Manchester City, I've only seen about 14 to 15 players in and out. So he's building an entirely new squad. He's had to deal with injuries that, all right, you could blame some of it on him, but let's face it, you know, when the likes of Odegaard getting a hamstring is blamed on Ange's tactics and Ange's training methods, and the dude's only played 3 games for us, I just find that a little hard to believe. So I would look at the fine margins. I would look at what it takes to build a whole new system. And I would suggest that it maybe takes a little longer than 18 months. And when you compound all the things that have gone wrong, you take into account, for me personally, the fact that from a club point of view, the squad management has not been good in terms of, and we've talked about this, Dave, we really needed to bring in 2, 3 more bodies if we were really, really, at the beginning of the season, serious about pushing on all 4 fronts, which is what we were told that was happening. So I understand the feeling of being let down, but I don't put that on Ange, because for me, it shows that he's not prepared. Other than Timo Werner, which I don't think was his decision, I don't think he's prepared to just bring in any old dross. I think the Timo Werner thing was basically put to him like, look, we're in a position where we thought we could do something, we can't. We've got this guy. And he was like, well, I need a warm body. So I'll just have to deal with it. So I think he's been, again, let down by the club. So for me, I don't necessarily think it's what Ange needs to do. I think there were signs at the beginning of the season and there were signs last year. If you dig through the weeds and you dig through the crap of understanding that there are inconsistencies in football, teams are going to be inconsistent. So for me, between the fine margins of winning and losing and the fact that we're, you know, a baby bird or pretty embryonic in this process, when you put all of that together, I need to see where this train finishes. I would personally give him the rest of the contract, because for me, unless it completely goes to shit the last part of the season, you can tell the players just aren't on board. I mean, and then shame on the players, to be honest with you, because we've been there before. But I just don't see the point of getting to the end of the season, especially if we show signs of promise, ditching it all, getting another manager to bring in another new philosophy that's going to take another 18 months to embed potentially. I'm just done with that. I'm done with it. I need to see where the Ange train goes. So I'm on it until it falls off a cliff, I guess.
Do you know what? A lot of people are sort of agreeing with what you're saying there. You know, William Webb says we've only lost 2 games under Ange by more than 1 goal, but against Liverpool. And I mean, you know, he's absolutely correct. You know, we a lot of the games where we have dropped points, it only has been by, you know, that sort of small margin. You know, and look, no doubt, a lot of the injuries, you know, the way we've had to keep changing the lineup and stuff like that, you know, obviously alludes to us being very unsettled, and you can see that in terms of some of the product that we produce on the pitch at times.
Well, I liken it, Dave, to almost, if you go back to sort of Klopp, when he first went to Liverpool and they were all talking about this kind of rock and roll football, and you go back and look at where they fell short in those 2 or 3 years where they were building up, because you've got to remember, it took them 4 years to win a trophy, and that was against us in the Champions League. People seem to forget, you know, people look back at that and they go, oh, you know, they were amazing. Like, they took years to build that. And when they fell short in games, it was because that rock and roll football that he played, you have to be pinpoint. It has to be 95, 96, 97% accurate. And if you don't have the right pieces in those puzzle, then it falls down, and it falls down real quick. And that's why we turned them over 4-1. Do you know what I mean? Those sorts of things happen when you're building a philosophy. And I just think it's in those moments this season when in the Brighton game, when things, and, you know, people will say, well, Ange just didn't change the tactics quick enough. And I don't think it's about that. I think it's about him needing to have the players on the pitch grasp what it is that they're fucking doing wrong and get their shit together. If he has to pull them off the pitch at every single time that they're starting to do something wrong, then they'll never learn to do it right in the moments that they need to do it right. Right? So I can understand giving them time. And again, it's a philosophy. I would take the 3-2 loss to Brighton so long as it actually got into their heads that they are never to do that again. And if they learn from that shit, then I'm good with it. But again, as I say, I'm on the train until it falls off the rails. But we are talking about fine margins, and the reason that we get caught in the ways we get caught in transitions at times, especially in the midfield, is because we're dealing with millimeters, and he doesn't quite have the pieces to fit the system. And I think we've all said that since the beginning of the season.
And I think that's the biggest problem right there, Drew, for me. You know, it's like, you know, look, one thing I've always said is, we can't keep operating the way we do, right? With the managers and tenure of the ownership, it works out as a manager every roughly 18 months to 2 years, right? So you're operating the way Abramovich did with Chelsea all them years, but we're not bankrolling it the way Abramovich did. You're not producing the best players for a manager to work with the way Abramovich did. So the only way of really combating that is going down the routes of what Liverpool have done, what Arsenal have done to a degree. Stick by your manager and keep adding, filling the gaps for him till you get to that point. But I think where we went massively wrong is in the summer, we didn't fill them gaps. We let Ange Postecoglou down to a large extent. And, you know, you look at Liverpool, for instance, you know, even when they had Jurgen Klopp there, they were still conceding goals. They were involved in high-scoring games, but they went out, brought in Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, bam, there you are, fixed the problem, never looked back. Arsenal needed a defensive midfielder, or that big midfielder. They went out, spent big money on Declan Rice, there you are. But, you know, now they need a striker. They're a bit more hesitant in terms of bringing that guy in. But the reality is, to get to where they are, they've kept on fixing the gaps. At Tottenham Hotspur, we don't do that. And that's where we're letting Ange Postecoglou down. And I agree with you. Look, you know, and what a lot of people are saying, you know, we've been in a lot of games this year, which makes a change compared to years gone by. But where I've been very frustrated with this team is exactly what K32 is saying here. One of our big problems this season, though, is that we haven't been clinical enough in possession. And that is my big problem. You know, you go back to some of these games where we've had really good possessions in periods of the game, really good chances, and we don't take them in them moments, and then we end up being caught later on in the game. And that really needs to change. In possession, we need to become a lot more devastating going forward. You know, we need to bring in proper quality here in the summer. It's in that forward line, because scoring goals is what wins you games, or what gets you points. Creating goals is what helps you win games, and a lot of that does come down to buying the right talent, the right sort of player, because a lot of it is off the cuff. Yes, your manager will come with ideas on how he wants to break teams down, certain patterns of play, etc. But that's only sort of a guideline. A lot of playing in the forward line is off the cuff, seeing things happen around you, making the right decisions, and that's where the quality comes into it. That's where the quality matters. So for me, if they are going to persist with Ange, we all know it's about attacking. Go and get him the right quality players to make it devastating. But that has to happen. If it doesn't, then unfortunately, they probably will look at something else. Sorry, go on.
Well, just one last point, because I'm aware that I'm talking a lot more than these two fellas down here. But just one last point. I mean, and just to echo the kind of Liverpool thing, and this is where I think it's a club problem and not an Ange problem, and we need to start being, more, taking a little bit more risk. But like, Liverpool saw where the issues were. They sold Philip Coutinho for 130 million, and they went out and bought Van Dijk and Alisson. We sold Harry Kane probably, maybe, I hate to say, possibly a season too late or on the cheap. And then we go out and buy, or sort of part pay for Kulusevski and Porro, which we kind of already had. Like, there are obviously differences in the way the club is run and what we do with our money. But again, I put that down to a club thing and people not really doing what they should behind the scenes. I don't put that on Ange. And I think, again, when you put all of that in perspective, I think he's actually doing a pretty good job. But yeah, I'll shut up now. Put it down there.
No, look, I definitely agree with that. And, I think someone just put it in there as well, not really, losing Harry Kane, the effect that it's had. It's always going to take a little bit of time to get the right ingredients and the right blend in the forward line to really kick this on. And I think we're learning that lesson now. Big up, Les Known. Great to see you, Joe Blogs. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. We've also got Danny Passe in the house, 221 awesome people in here. Hit that like. Great to see everyone. Good to see you, Danny. Hopefully you're keeping well. That's what that was talking about, Kane and Son. Good to see you. J Max says, spot on, Drew. We need better quality in key positions, plus individual errors, poor execution, and lack of leadership has led to many losses, plus cockiness in certain games. Absolutely spot on there. And then there's just one comment that I do want to take quickly. Let me just find it just quickly. And it's from Kinburn. Says, if you guys were as tough on your own work performances as you are on Ange, you'd probably all be on the dole. And I mean, look, this is part of the problem. We're literally just having a conversation, around, what Ange needs to do between now and the end of the season, because I think it's a legitimate conversation to have. It's not against Ange Postecoglou, but I think what many people need to remember is we're all Tottenham fans before any player, before any manager. Our best interest is the club. Some people's best interest might be Ange Postecoglou, because some of them are just Ange fans. Now, of course, there are a lot of people that are Ange fans and Tottenham fans, but this point scoring shit has to stop. At the end of the day, you have to have conversations around this. At the end of the day, you can't avoid it with what's going on, with the pressures around the football club. Just to sit there, put your hands in the air and go, oh, just back Ange, it doesn't matter. Well, I'm not being funny, but that attitude is half the reason why we're here right now. Many people in the summer called me negative, etc., etc. Don't criticize the window, Dave. Get behind the players. Back Ange. Where has that gotten? In fact, I sat there in the summer and I said, this window is going to let Ange Postecoglou down this summer. He's going to be the one that's going to pay the price. And it's all been him that's been ridiculed all across, all across the media. It's all been him. And that's because the window has failed him. So this thing of just put your hands in your ears, doesn't matter, back Ange, it's not helping the guy. You think it is, but it's actually not, and this shit has to stop. But sorry, Donovan Dermo, you've listened to the conversation that myself and Drew were having there. I mean, have you anything you want to come in and add on what you think Ange, or what we need to see to guarantee that Ange will be in a job, come the summer?
I want to add something, and this is going back a little bit, but it sort of makes it relevant to Ange. When we got relegated in 77 with Keith Birkinshaw, it would have been quite easy to get rid of him at that time. That was his first season in his charge. In his first season, he got us relegated. But they stuck by him. We got up in 78 at the second division by the skin of our teeth, got back into the first division. And what was the first thing they did when we got back up? They backed him with two world-class players, Ozzy Adilis and Ricky Villa. And then they added to it. Bill Nick was saying, scout for Tottenham at that point, and they added to it. Glenn Hoddle came through the youth academy. Mickey Hazard, I think, came through the youth academy. They brought in Garth Crooks. They brought in Steve Archibald. They brought in Graham Roberts from non-league. They brought in players and they added to the squad. They built something. And that Tottenham Berkshire side become really second most successful Tottenham manager in history, bar Bill Nick. So I see a lot of similarities with Ange and Keith Berkshire. And why I say that is because Ange is trying to build something a bit like Keith Berkshire. He needs time to get it right. He needs time. He needs backing. And Dave, I've said it. You've said it to you, and I have said it to me on stream, and I've said it to you personally. The transfer windows were not good enough. Both of them were not good enough. Until yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, Dermot, can I ask you a brief question there just before I forget? Look, I agree with you that, Postecoglou needs a certain amount of backing, right, to really help kick this on into next season. But the reality is I'm resigned. The club is just going to bring in what they want. We were having this debate on Last Word on Spurs last night that Ange just okayed every signing, said that he's okayed every sign that walks in here. But it's hard to believe because you can guarantee Valise wasn't his. You can guarantee Hyuk wasn't his. Bergvall, we know, was Johan Lang. So, again, that's not necessarily true. So the club are going to bring in what they want to bring in, regardless of what Ange Postecoglou is screaming for. So on that basis, we go to time. How much time do we give it then, Dermo?
Look, football nowadays is not what football used to be like when I was a kid, when you were a kid, Dave. Football's different now. It's not like Berkshire being in there to 84 and taking us down and giving a chance. It's not like Fergie, one game away from getting the sack at Man United and being backed, and look at the success he went on. I would like, look, realistically, you keep him in the job and you keep him in the job for next season. I think you've got to. I think this changing manager shite is no good. We've done enough of it now. You got to stick by something. And I think you do. I think you have to. But it's all right keeping them in the job. But you got to back them with the right players. You got to back them rightly in the transfer market.
See, that's the problem. We're not. We're just going to say you got to work with what we provide you.
Yes. So then, in that point, then this is where this investment comes in more. This one comes in. This investment or this so-called takeover comes in more importantly because you need that. You need that bridge between whoever's going to back this manager and the team that got around recruiting. We know the recruitment team's not good enough. We know Johan Lang's not good enough. We know Scott Munner's not good enough. We all know we need Paratici back in the chair. But there's rumours Paratici could be going to another Champions League club when his ban expires. Now, if that happens, then we've just, again, shot ourselves in the foot. We've got to somehow recruit over the next whatever months before the window opens and start that window as we mean to go on. Bang, 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 bang. Ange will work with the players the club will give him. He has done that. He's not like a Conte. He's not like a Mourinho who demands the best players. He will work with 20, 30 million euro players. We've seen what he done up in Celtic, Dave. We've got this experience of what he's done with so-called lesser players and turned them into world beaters. He can do it at Tottenham. He just needs the right players for the right positions. It doesn't matter if it's club signing. It doesn't matter if it's an Ange signing. If that player fits his system, fits his style, and fits the way Ange wants to play football, then Ange will do something about it. He will make them into a better player. We've got to learn now, football's not like Football Manager. You just can't go out and spend 100 and 200 million. We're never going to do that. Levy's never going to go out and spend 100 million on a top player. That's never going to happen. As long as he's at our club and as long as I've got a hole in my arse, that is never going to happen.
Do you know what, Dermo? Just on that quickly, I'm hoping now that will happen because, in years gone by when you keep chopping and changing managers, right? Yeah. Effectively, every summer you're looking to make your budget spread over 6-7 players. And that means that you're automatically shopping in the 20, 30 million pool to try and maximize your money and what the gaps you're trying to fill. Now that we've cleared a lot of the deadwood off, we've had a good season behind us with very low wages compared to what we could be spending and stuff like that. I'm actually hoping then if Ange does stay in the job, all of a sudden we're in a position and go, right, what's the two most immediate positions? Let's go out and spend big because a lot of the times, the more money you spend, the better quality you are bringing in here, the better sort of mentality you are bringing in here. And at some point, we do have to recognize we need to get to that position where you do have 1 or 2 star players, because in order to compete with the likes of the clubs that do pick up a lot of the trophies, you have to have a couple of star players. I get, in and around it, you can fill that in with other signings and Ange can get the best out of them, but you do need a bit of star quality to help drag that on, and we do have to get to that point.
Yeah, you do. You do have to get to that point. And it's down then, that falls down to the owners then to back the manager and the recruitment team to be ready to hit the ball. They should be planning now for the summer, but we're not, because that's not how our recruitment team work. If that was Paratici, he would have players ready to come in. If you look at a Paratici summer transfer window and you look at a Lang transfer window, which one's the better one? Paratici. Look at the players brought in: Romero, Van der Ven, Vicario, players that were unknown. Everyone was saying, we want Raya. I think I was, and a few other people, Colin on my channel did a report on Vicario. He keeps telling me, he's a Man United fan, he keeps telling me Vicario is going to be the best keeper we've ever had. He is. And we've got him at our club and he wants to be here. So if we get the right players and we get the right players that fit an Ange system and the right players that have the right mentality, the sky is the limit. Let's get behind this. We can't keep chopping and changing. It is no good. And we can't keep sniping at each other either. That's also got to stop. We've got to come together as one. We could do it for the protest last week. Well, let's do it behind the team for the rest of this season. Forget our agendas. Forget who we want in. Forget who we want out. Let's back the players. Let's back the club. And let's get this season over and done with. Let's end this season the best way we can under Ange Postecoglou. And if he's here next season, we'll support him. If he's not here, we'll support whoever comes in and manages the club. Just get it done, because this fight against each other is fucking no good. It's exhausting and it's tiring, and I'm just getting pissed off with it. I just want to support my team the best way I see how, and I'm going to do that. And if you don't like it, then that's your tough luck. I'm not going to change for no man or nobody.
Well, look, winning is what brings camaraderie, so hopefully we can get to that point and end this season just in a nice place for once, heading into the summer rather than in a very chaotic place. Just quickly, William Webb says the leading clubs are buying up all good young talent. Spurs are no different. And look, I don't disagree with that. I think, a good club should always be in the market for good young talent, but also look to really sort of affect your first team every summer where you can with 1 or 2 signings. And I think that's where we went wrong in the summer, in my opinion. Like, we had the under-21s off the back of unbelievable success from under-17s, under-18s, and under-21s, 3 years on the trot. We didn't need to go down the route we did in the summer. We could have sprinkled it with a couple bits of quality to really add some competition and really kick us on. And I think we failed massively. I think we went down too far one route rather than actually have a good mix of both. And I think that's where the problem lies for me, William. But good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well, lad. But Donovan, let's round off this discussion with you. I mean, what's your thoughts on the whole situation? What does Ange need to do to keep himself in a job heading into next season, between now and the end of this season? A lot of people are saying performances really matter to me. Other people are saying, look, top half finish and a good run in the Europa League. Where are you at with it?
Yeah, it's crazy, the protests and everything, and there's some pretty low things that people have been using this protest as an excuse to kind of like display, and it's kind of sad and disgusting on some of the stuff. I don't want to get too political or too into anything like he said, a name drop or whatever, but I've seen some pretty like disturbing stuff in the Spurs fan base, and like screenshots and like people saying stuff about other people in the community, and it's like, we're all on the same side, man. We're all wearing the same jersey. We all want the same team to win at the end of the day.
You all want the same outcome.
Totally, right? And so if somehow me losing or the team losing makes your agenda better, then good for you. But like at the end of the day, like we all just want the club to go forward, right? So yeah, I don't know. Paratici's out of a job. I need a job here soon, but I do hear rumors that he's going to AC Milan. He's going to be the AC Milan director and take over. And so
that'd be a huge loss if he does, Donovan.
I know. I think like get the Johan Lange out and Paratici in. And I still hear that like we're going for Eze. Eze is still a huge top target for us, even though he has a 60 million like price tag. It doesn't matter to Tottenham. Like like the 60 million isn't an issue for Tottenham. Like they're still going to get him. So I'm just imagining a world that has like a young Archie Gray as a Maddison midfield. Like that'd be crazy. So there's hope to hold on to. And like I alluded to earlier in my last monologue of like nothing crazy is going to happen before the World Cup because I really want I want a Nagelsmann. Like I want a Nagelsmann. Like as soon as Poch left, and I saw everything Nagelsmann did from that young Hoffenheim team with all those stars that got picked off.
Yeah, I remember Jack talking about that as well. Jack was very impressed with him at Hoffenheim. That's still where he kept them referring to him as well. You're spot on there.
And so I wanted, because like once I realized like it was like freaking Newmansburg like Judgment Day, like when the dust settling, and it's like, wow, he actually sacked Pochettino. Like Pochettino's gone. Like, what are we gonna do? Everyone kind of sensed for the next like 2 or 3 seasons there's going to be a chaos, and it was, and we haven't had any solidarity. So yeah, we could back this project. I think he's here until 2027 with an option for another year. So like, let's give him the time. But I want a trophy, man. Like you didn't say you win something in your second season, so let's win a trophy. But it is really, I just sad to see like just a bad run of form of our club, and using it as an excuse to like as a platform to like just sour it more with your toxic views that don't even need to be brought to the world. Like I'll just be straight up, man. Like some of the stuff that like that hippie guy was talking about, like that style guy was saying, man, like that's crazy, man. Like what the hell? How can you be like doing that stuff, man? Like
I don't want to get into calling out individuals, Donovan. I'm not here for that. It's something I've always said. I'm not engaging in. Can have their opinions, you know, and I just don't want to get into talking about individuals, my man.
But the main thing I'm trying to say here is that like because the club is doing so bad, it just brought that out of the fan base, right? So it's like it sucks we have to even have these conversations, right? So
yeah,
So a top half finish would be nice, and like I mean, if we do fire the guy, who we're gonna get? We're not gonna get anyone like in right away. It's gonna affect like in the off season even, like. No, let's see this thing out. Let's see him out with a full season. Let's see him with some backing. Hopefully, Danzo can help like lighten load for Romero if Romero does play for us again and doesn't get cashed out, right?
Be interesting to see what happens there because again, we're not really getting any time frame with the likes of Romero or Van de Ven. You know, we're being told they're back in training, we're being cautious, etc. But
I was told that Romero's played his last game for Spurs. Like I believe that.
I've seen that circling. Do you would you agree with that?
I just think that he saw their situation. We were almost in relegation for him, and he put his body on the line. And the World Cup's coming up, and you know, like you can only put your body on the line so much. And have watched your club fall down the ladder so much and be okay, just get me out of here. My agent, get me moved to Real Madrid, get me moved to Real Madrid, you know, and save my body for that. And Van de Ven's Spurs through and through. Like Mickey Van de Ven, like it's Romero's here, he's done a lot, but Van de Ven's ceiling is higher, if that makes any sense. Like Van de Ven, like if he can stay healthy, his ceiling in world football is like he'll be the best in his position, like in history, if he can stay fit. So I think holding on to Van de Ven long term and kind of just nursing him and almost seeing what happened. Everyone saw what happened with Dudley King, right? So yeah, no, I'm okay with Tottenham the way it is right now because you have to accept the kind of the hand you're dealt. But no, getting Paratici back would be huge, and yeah, I want an Nagelsmann, and so until some other name comes up after the World Cup, stick with the Ange project. And I hate telling myself this, but the lot down the road, Woolwich there. It wasn't until third season that all that shit that Arteta was shoveling, he struck gold finally, and then hit that run, right? So it can happen. We have seen it happen where it clicks, but we got a good team, man. Like Sauron is a good player. Bergval's coming good now. Gray hasn't even played any games or run of games in the 6 yet, and apparently that's his position. So you know, it's Vicario is a world-class keeper. We saw the difference he made right away in the United game. So it'll be good. And is there any word on Romero playing today? Like, is he playing today?
No, I don't think he'll play today. I think Postecoglou said in the pre-match press conference, you know, he's hoping Izzy Alkmaar, him and Van de Ven. So, you know, let's wait and see what happens there.
Can I just quickly say, Dave, I think Romero will be here next season. I don't believe in this. He's played his last game for the club. He will play again this season, and he will be here next season. I think he's more Tottenham through and through than a lot of people give him credit for. And I think there's a lot of people putting shite out there in the newspapers. We've never heard him come out and say he wanted to leave the club. We've never heard him come out and say he criticised the board for not backing Ange and not backing the managers. Now, if that's a player that wanted to leave, he wouldn't have said that. I think there's more to Romero that we're slightly missing a little bit here, and I think he will be here next season. I think if any player goes, I think it might be Draxon may go in the summer. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if Romero and Van der Ven Romero are still here next season.
It'd be interesting to see. I think. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying, how do we get conned with these like sub-average, lanky bastards at center back, tall, burly guys like that? Eric Dyer. Now you have Dragusin, which is just Eric Dyer remaining with a man bun. Like, we have no technical ability at the back, but we have confidence now. Like Archie Gray, I would put my house, like, I don't know how your banking works over in Ireland. There in Canada, you have to have like a co-signer for big loans. I know over like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'd trust Archie Gray to be my co-signer, man. Like on a house loan. Like this guy is so on the ball, bro. He is so good. And the fact that we struck gold with him, and people are saying we overpaid $40 million. Well, that's just the modern rate for these like wonder kids, right? And now people are giving us the respect where like they joke about it, or it's like, oh, Tottenham Hotspur are doing a football manager thing or something where they have like this career mode save where they go around signing all these wonder kids. Well, you know what? If Ange does stick around and we don't have nothing else to do, man, for the next 2 seasons, and these kids do come together, all these experiences, I kicked them in the dirt, it's going to make them better players for it. And everyone's saying it. So everyone's getting their licks in now, like Jamie Carragher, man, and some of those yappy pundits, man. They're not going to be laughing in a couple of years, man, because everyone saw Liverpool were building before they bought the Van Dijks. They bought they sold Coutinho and bought the Wijnaldums and whatnot. And I'm looking at our squad, our starting lineup. I think we're like a 6, and maybe another left wing away from something big here. I mean something big, and not even like a Odegaard, like someone solid, like I keep saying like Rafael Leao or someone on that level where we can just reliably just tell Sonny to kick his feet up, and like a Joshua Kimmich in this side would be like I keep hearing that Frankie De Jong's on his way out of the club. So,
do you know what? I actually agree with you there in terms of I don't think this team is too far away from really kicking on, but it's about signing the right sort of, in my opinion, experienced players, which comes with leadership, you know, to really sort of drag this forward and kicking on. I think we're only a couple of signings away from really doing the right thing and kicking on. It's just, that's where I think we missed a trick in the summer. I think we're also in that position in the summer, you know, and we sort of missed a trick. So it's just about recognizing that and really signing them caliber of players to really kick this on. But let's wait and see if that happens. We'll take just a couple of comments here, and then I do want to plug our partnership between now and the end of the season with NordVPN. But Lazy 8 says, I think Romero will play a couple of games end of the season, but gone this summer, he has the opportunity to make the next and highest move. So why wouldn't he? And look, I think at the end of the day, if Real Madrid comes calling, from my experience, it doesn't matter what club they're at in England, they tend to go. So for me, I think if they come calling, they put in the bid and it's accepted, I think you will see Romero leave. Also, I do think it's curious that he hasn't really played since he's criticised the club as well. So I wonder, has that got anything to do with it? Big
can I jump in there quickly?
It's yeah. Just quickly, like Donovan, because I do have to plug NordVPN, my man.
Yeah. It's like whatever happens with Romero happens, but at least we can see that Dan's going to play the passes. Like he can play the passes, and he might be a little bit rushed and a little bit panicked, but when he does settle into the game, like some of those passes he's hitting are like through an alley, just a pin, like right, like lacing like a boot, man. And it's really good stuff. And so if we get him in a solid run of form and keep him healthy, it's not like we're losing a lot when it comes to that aspect of just the system. So, you know, it would be sad to see it. And I'm not saying like I'm an anti-Romero, I want Romero out. I'm just saying that Danza has shown the ability to play those passes. So
Look, I like from what I've seen from Danzo actually so far, to be fair, but I do think there is levels in terms of in possession what Romero and Danzo do offer, and I do think Romero will be a huge loss if we do let him go. But I agree with you, I do like Danzo for sure. Jason Green says typical as soon as we are out of the cups, the players return from injury. Couldn't write it. That's Spursy right there, Jason Green. That is big up, my man. Good to see you. And Ray Martin says the play of Conte, Nuno, Mourinho was so boring. I didn't even enjoy the wins. Please, let's not go back to that, except for the link up between Kane and Son, which was wonderful and made me a fan, which is also gone and pisses me off every time I watch Tottenham now, how bad we are going forward. But guys, I do want to take this moment to plug NordVPN. If you look at the chat, it's pinned up in the comment section. If you're interested, just simply click on the link. It'll bring you to NordVPN's website, and then you go and get the very best possible deal that you get, or the best plan that you need to tailor to what you need it for. But guys, anyone that doesn't know what NordVPN, basically, it allows you to be able to bounce your location, shop around the internet, put yourself in a different country, and get whatever it is, your media packages, sports packages, etc., at better prices. You know, for instance, today the game isn't being showed in the UK and Ireland, but I'm still watching the game. How? Well, I simply use my NordVPN, sign into one of my subscriptions, and I can watch it like I'm sitting there in the USA beside Jack. So I have no problem. So NordVPN helps you with that. Not only that, it does protect your data, your private data, and your bank details, passwords, and online identity, which we know is very important, especially nowadays with the modern world and all the technology. There's so many people trying to breach you, hack you, and stuff like that. Well, don't worry about that. NordVPN provide top class security. That good, we could almost employ them to be in Tottenham's backline. Guys, also, like I said, it allows you to switch your vertical location, protects your data whilst traveling and using public Wi-Fi, which I think is very important as well. Again, you don't want, if you're, say, at the airport and stuff like that, you don't want people to be able to access, you know, your phone and stuff like that, your laptop, through the likes of the public Wi-Fi. So NordVPN helps protect with that as well. So many great protection features, which protects you from viruses, malicious malware, and phishing sites, which I think is very, very important. But not only that, guys, we are not bringing you your bog standard VPN. We are bringing you the fastest VPN in the world. No buffering, aka lagging while streaming, and stops your ISP bandwidth throttling. Those of you tech nerds know what that is. It basically steadies it out, which means you don't get your buffering or laggering. And it's basically premium cybersecurity for a cup of coffee per month. I mean, you would regret if you didn't pay that price of coffee for a month for that peace of mind. And this is what I really like. One NordVPN account can be used for up to 10 devices, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Most you pay for one VPN for one device. They give you up to 10, and we all know we own tablets, laptops, phones, etc. So it will get used very, very quickly. Definitely getting bang for your buck there. So if you do like what I've had to promote to you today, make sure you click on the link pinned in the comment section below, also in the description below this podcast. It'll bring you straight there. All the plans are perfectly laid out. Again, everything that I've spoke to you here about is there in more detail as well. Check it out and make sure you get on it. And I want to say a massive thank you to NordVPN for helping sponsor us and everything we're trying to do here between now and the end of the season. So thank you, NordVPN, for that partnership. And guys, the only reason why we get it is because of people like you out there tuning in all the time. So, we're trying to help you on your travel and stuff like that. So make sure you get on it. But guys, let's keep this moving. I do believe the teams will be out in just a couple of minutes. So we'll get Dermot in charge of bringing them up for us on screen. We've got Soren, who's just popped in the back end. So let's quickly find out how Soren is and how he's feeling ahead of today's game. How are you, Soren?
Not too bad. Sorry, I looked at the link earlier and I just saw 1:30. And then I've just realised that was for the last game, so my apologies. I thought you were.
No, you're all good. You're all good. I was about to text you after and just make sure everything was all right, because I didn't hear from you, so I was just, wondering was everything all right going on and stuff like that. But look, how are you feeling heading in today's game, lad?
A lot more relaxed, to be honest with you.
Right.
I feel having that win the other day certainly took a little bit of pressure off. I just feel a little bit more relaxed with it all again, back into the normal swing. Obviously, players coming back helps a lot. And look, I think today will be retribution for the last time we played them. I think we're going to. He's my little brother. What are you on about? Saying that, I don't know if is it little or should I call
don't
you my
see
older
it.
brother?
I don't see it. I even looked and I was like, how am I on the screen down there? And then I saw it was you. Look.
I see it. I actually see it. I do think you look a bit similar, to be fair.
Yeah,
Maybe separating that part.
It's the distinguished look of the beard.
There is no way God put two good-looking chaps like this in one stream.
No way, honestly. That's why they had to separate us at birth. That's what I'm saying. Exactly, it's the family treasure.
You mean 3 or 4, Soren? You mean you two? Not you mean you've got 5 good-looking lads here in this?
Oh,
stream.
absolutely. Sorry,
I did mean 2, just me and him.
Apologies.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. How much is he paying you?
A lot. No, I feel quite relaxed today. I feel like we're going to do well. I think it will be hopefully quite a promising game, and I think we'll do well. And I think it'll be a high-scoring match.
I don't know if I can have
I'm not bothered.
Just quickly, we'll throw something at you before the lineups come out. What are you expecting to see in fullback position today? Because there's a lot of talk heading into the game today, starting about, who should a Doggy come back in, and then what does that mean for Spence or Porro? Who would you like to see either side of the fullback options today?
Personally, if a Doggy's fit enough, I'd like to see a Doggy on the left and Spence on the right. I'd like to see Spence playing in his proper position. But look, Spence has done incredibly well at left back, so I just think Porro needs a rest, should be rested, and if we want to call it rested rather than dropped, then rested is the way it should be. But I think Spence deserves his chance at right back, a Doggy at left back, and get damn Archie Gray in midfield. That's the way I look at it.
Do you know what? I just don't think we will see Archie Gray in midfield. I think I'd be surprised. I think he'll be used as cover across the back line until we get more players back.
Yeah, I just think it would be, nice for him to actually get chance to play his position. Put people where they're supposed to be playing. Look, I get the probably needing him to be cover. I think Postecoglou's kind of hinted that Van der Ven and Romero's going to be back for the first leg of the cup tie, I believe. So, they're obviously not far away. So, yeah, maybe once they get back, he'll get his chance then. So, but it'd be nice just to, just put him in there, give him a chance.
It'd be nice to see it before the end of the season. I think many Spurs fans want to see that for sure between now and the end of the season. I think maybe once you get players back from injury, I think is when you might see the opportunity arise. I think until then, because Archie, and it's testament to Archie Gray, the fact that he's filled in across the back line and looks so comfortable, I think he will be sort of kept around there. Faz Radfar 41 Spurs says, big up to my favourite channel. Good to see Dave back. Big up, Faz Radfar. Really appreciate it. And you always say this, that we're your favourite channel. It's really nice of you, my man. I really do appreciate it. And look, it's absolutely great to be back. Like I said, I had a couple of games in the bed. Thought it would be nice and relaxing. It really wasn't. I was tuning in, putting in comments. People engage with me. I feel lost. I feel lonely. So, I'm glad to be back. Absolutely, for sure. But Dermot is about to bring up the lineups here. So we are going to bring them up on screen. Let's go around and get people's thoughts on the lineups. Of course, Big Vic Venom Vicario is back in goals. Tottenham's number 1, Jed Spence, looks like coming in at right back with Danso and Gray at centre back and Destiny Udogie at left back. Me personally, I think Jed Spence and Udogie either side is the future. I'm very excited to see how that gets on today. I just hope we're not rushing Destiny Udogie back too soon. Then you go into midfield and it's Oh, interesting. James Maddison drops out. So the rumor of him maybe potentially picking up a knock looks like it's true. It's Bergvall, Bentancur, and Dejan Kulu Messi forming the midfield tree. And then Drew will be absolutely buzzing with this. He's trying to hide his excitement, but Brennan Johnson is back on the right-hand side, Tell through the middle, and Son off the left. Dermo, can you run us through the bench, my man? You're on mute, buddy.
I'm bad. We've got Kinski in goal. We've got Pedro Porro, Reguilon, Basuma, Sarr, Maddison, Archie Moore, Odegaard, and Dane Scarlett on the bench.
Sorry, run through that again, Dermo.
Kinski, Porro, Reguilon, Basuma, Sarr, Maddison, Moore, Odegaard, and Scarlett.
Oh, interesting. Interesting that Maddison's dropped to the bench then, so maybe...
I think it's a good
There was
move.
rumours that he had a knock, but I don't know. It's hard to know. Well, Dark Sung G will be happy anyway. I know he did call for Brennan Johnson to come in. Look, Dermo, we'll get your... I know you're busy. We'll let you go, my man. Let's get your thoughts and let's get your score prediction, buddy.
Yeah, sorry. I'll get that back up for you again. Sorry, Dave. Pressed the wrong button there. Yeah, look, for me, I think it's a good lineup. Great to see Spence on the right. I like that back four. Really do. I like that. As the midfield I actually called for yesterday, my predicted lineup and the front three. So I'm really, really delighted. I actually had Spence and I had Ben Davies in for Archie Gray. That's the only change I made. That's the only difference. So I'm ready afternoon. That's a team that can win. That is going to win. We're going to spank them 5-0 today. We haven't beaten them, Dave. This is true. We haven't beaten them since the year 2000. So I know Ipswich have been in League One and the Championship, but we haven't beaten them since then. The last 4 Premier League games we have played against them, they have beaten us. So we drew a win against Ipswich. But that is, for me, it's a good defence. I think Vicario commanding his back four. I think the midfield looks strong. And the front three looks good as well. With Johnson, the return of Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, you're another one that must be excited, right? You're another big Johnson fan.
I want him to prove everyone wrong. I want him to go out there and stick it up to all them people that hated on him, put in a great performance, and actually put within. Drew's about to fall off his chair and just, I don't know if he's laughing or crying or doing whatever he's doing. Just back me up here, Drew.
I'm backing you up, man. I'm backing you up.
And Tell as well. I think I love Tell up front. I think Tell really brings that energy up front. He works extremely hard up there. And then Sonny, then Captain Fantastic. I mean, what a team. I'm going for a 5-0 win. And if you like what I have to say, just come and join me and Tequila and Column over on THFC till I die. Home Tottenham past and present. An exciting future under Ange Postecoglou as we go on to in the Europa League and finish high up in the league. We're only 10th point of 7th place, and we're only 14 points off top 4. So why the hell? Let's go for top 4. Come on.
Oh, Dermo, you're a legend, man. Never change. Absolutely love that. I love that where he just goes with Drew, just dragging him along. Just go with me on Johnson. Just trust me. Absolutely love that. Blaine Devlin, good to see you, member for 1 month. Hopefully you're keeping well, sir. I mean, it'd be nice to get you on and have a conversation with you as well. He says, Jesus, that's a good-looking bunch of men. Oh, and today's squad too. Big up, lads. I'm predicting 3-1 Spurs win today. Come on, you Spurs. I know, look, as soon as we went live today, I mean, the comments were out the door of people saying, look, the new Magic Mike, and stuff, the Tottenham version of Magic Mike. So, look, I really appreciate that, Blaine Devlin. We do try. We really do try. We've even got twins at the top here, if you haven't noticed, to bring that extra bit of spice to the Magic Mike community.
Less Magic Mike and more Tragic Mike, mate.
Well, I think if you put us in amongst the Spurs 11, it would become Tragic Mike, to be quite frank. Yeah. But look, absolutely love it. 3-1 today. Look, what I will say is, it's a young team full of energy, full of legs. Hopefully we see plenty of movement, see them zipping around the place. Hopefully that's the plan anyway, Blaine Devlin. Hopefully we're not sitting here, crying come the end of it. And by the way, guys, just quickly, the rugby is starting for Ireland as well, so I don't want anyone to ruin that for me, because I will be watching that when I'm finished everything here this evening. But big up, Blaine. Really appreciate support, man. And good to see you back from America. Good to see you back alive and in full health, Blaine. Good to see you. We'll go to you, Donovan. Let's get your quick thoughts on the lineup. I mean, someone put it in there about James Maddison. Interesting that he finds himself dropped after his performance against Man United. What's your thoughts on the lineup? What's your score prediction, buddy?
Yeah, I think it's just so he can change tact later on if he needs to, change the system up. Yeah, we have a good team out like a really good team, and that back line has a potential to be really good. Like it's, I don't know anything about this pitch or how big it is compared to, or if it's bumpy or if we can't get the ball going. But if we can, like it's very tactical, that back line, quick, dynamic, Bentancur right in front of it too to link and play, and just pivot. But that's if we can keep the ball on the deck. And in this front three, man, Tell and Johnson doing the running for Son, and Kulu just doing the work in half space. We could have too much for them, and I'm hoping that's the case. 4-0, I'm going for. I don't really know anything about their team. Haven't seen their lineup at all. And it'd be nice to see Maddison and Porro come off the bench, and Bissouma and Sarr, and we'll see how they can change the game if we need them to. But this team has the potential of being really good today, hopefully. So, but that's all the quality of the pitch, right? So we'll see how that happens. So.
Do you know what? For me, I actually, you mentioned about the players coming off the pitch, and that's one thing I'm actually excited to see today. I think in games previous, we sort of had to sit back an awful lot, in the second half due to energy and not really having the impact players off the bench. I'm actually hoping today with bringing players off the bench, you can actually maybe continue that press for a lot longer than what we've seen in recent months and sort of push them back rather than have to sit in and hang on the second half. So that'll be absolutely nice, absolutely spot on there, Donovan. Same to you, Donovan. Really appreciate you getting up today over in Canada, my man, nice and early, and being here with us today. Thank you very much, my man. Thank you for putting in the shift.
Thanks for having me in.
I'm going to put Dermo's link in here as well, guys. Make sure when I put that in there, you get over, smash the subscribe button. And Dermo, you're an absolute legend as well. Really appreciate your time as well, buddy. Let's go up to Drew. Drew, we'll get your thoughts on the lineup here. I mean, Donovan also mentioned about Kulusevski back in that number 10 role, operating in the half spaces. I think that actually might help us hopefully open up Ipswich Town today. I mean, what's your thoughts on the lineup? What's your score prediction, my man?
I'm kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be Danzo and Davies. So it just shows the trust in these two, because I mean, they've played 4 games together, maybe. So I think honestly, I think it's taken a bit of a risk, regardless of how well you think Gray has been, and I think he's been phenomenal. I just thought we might have a bit more of a steady Eddie in the back. So I don't know. That kind of fills me half with excitement and half with trepidation and fear. So we will just see what happens. But yeah, as far as the midfield, I was expecting Maddison because I thought Kulusevski would start on the wing because I didn't think Johnson was quite ready to start. So that's kind of interesting. As far as Maddison, let's hope it's just more incentive for him to, when he does come on, or even if he doesn't come on, when he comes on against Manchester City in the midweek, or if he plays there, he shows the same endeavour as he did in the last game. I mean, for me, everything that's been said about him is kind of true, and I think you're a little bit silly to shush somebody that's won multiple championships for the sake of one goal against a bang average Manchester United. So that's just my take. I'm just interesting to see what he does in terms of the substitutes, just because, like you say, it's nice to be able to get players on that don't necessarily, you don't see that huge dip in skill level. So I'm sure you'll see a Johnson Odegaard swap or some sort of Odegaard Son. I would like to think that Tell's probably going to get 90 minutes just because there's no reason that he shouldn't. He's been shown, like, he's had a season and a half in Munich, and I think that full season when he played, he did a few 90 minutes, so he's got it in him. So yeah, interesting, man. I think I don't see any reason. I said 2-1 yesterday. I still think it's going to be, a couple of these players are still needing to get on the same page again. I'm expecting Udogie just to be solid. But, I don't want Udogie and Johnson running themselves into the ground. We got to take these players and kind of nurse them back. So, looking forward to it, man. I still hoping, predicting 3 points.
No, I think, look, it's a good enough and strong enough lineup to be able to go and compete today and take all 3 points. I do not see reasons why we can't. And look, I think, it's an interesting decision on Ben Davies for Archie Gray. I sort of agree with you. I think, look, to be fair, I actually think Ben Davies has been a massive part of the last 2 clean sheets we've played in terms of getting blocks in, stopping opponents, but also getting his head on the ball and clearing crosses. So I think it's a big call today to make. So let's wait and see whether that pays off. I wonder, is Davies maybe feeling something? I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, Surf Sauce says there Gray is as good as Davies, and I don't doubt that. Big up Surf Sauce. I just it was more for me like just having a bit more of a steady Eddie at the back that's kind of been there, because as I say, these guys have only played a couple of games between them. But yeah, no, you know, have at it. Let's go.
No, 100%. Interesting call. And then, Soren, up to you, my man. I mean, look, what's your thoughts on the lineup? I mean, someone said it there. I think it was Skunkworks. He says he just hopes Tell gets on the score sheet for his confidence. I think many people are nodding their head as soon as I said that. I think many people agree with that today. Soren, what's your thoughts on the lineup, and what's your score prediction, my man?
Yeah, I think the first thing to say about the lineup is you take Benton, Kerr and Son out of there. That team is almost the future for the next 10 years.
Fair.
You know, you look at the youngsters there that are starting. I mean, I know there's injuries in the squad, but, you know, that's an exciting team going forward. And for those at the beginning of the season that said Gray was just meh and wasn't up to the Premiership and wasn't very good, and him and Bergvall wouldn't start any matches this season. Again, I appreciate there's been some, you know, injuries and that's why they've got in there. But look how good they have been. Great. I think it's a very good balanced lineup. I hope Benton Kerr actually has a decent game, because I think he has been quite poor. Sonny needs to step up a little bit. Yes, Tell wants to, you know, get him on the score sheet. Let's get some confidence. Score-wise, I think we'll go 3-0.
Clean sheet.
I think we're going to get another clean sheet, and I think we'll dominate today. I think we'll play well. And then probably later on, like you say, Porro will probably come on for Spence maybe, or Spence might go to the left and take the doggy off. And yeah, it'd be nice to see Erdebear come on for Son. Maybe just give Son half and take him off. You know, let's get these players back to fitness and playing well. But confident, 3-0. Come on, you Spurs.
I've just clocked that Davies isn't even in, or Davis isn't even in the squad. So we've got no cover we've got no cover at centre back. So that's just a little bit of a concern. I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't matter, but yeah,
we'll beat them 9-8 or something.
Oh God.
Soren, I'm very disappointed in you. You've only gone 3. Where's this?
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. I think 3-0, because we're away, aren't we? Yeah, we're away from home today. Yeah. So I think 3-0 at their place is a good result. And Tell's going to get the hat trick.
Well, I hope to see delusional Soren back with me on Thursday.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. But guys, there you have it.
Yeah, it's City. We know it's going to be a 5-0 against them. We own Manchester. Manchester's Lillywhite.
The sad thing is, we're more confident going into the Manchester City game than we are going into the Ipswich game. We really need to try and flip that on its head at some point if we can. But look, I want to say a massive thank you to Donovan, Dermot, Drew, for all giving up their time and being here with us today. Thank you as well for Soren as well, popping in there. Really appreciate that, my man. It's good to see you and good to see you're doing okay as well. Guys, I'm just going to put Dermot's link in here before we do end off. Please make sure you get over, smash that subscribe button on his channel. He'd be absolutely buzzing with that. And to be fair, do you know what? He brings good vibes, Dermo. I do like it. You know, when times are tough, Dermo's always there to bring the vibes and always there to check in on me when I'm sick as well. So, guys, please get over, check out the channel, and make sure you smash the subscribe button. But, guys, that's it from me here. That's it from us here. I'm off the list too. Rhythm is a dancer, but also we've got Kevin Dance. So change the lyrics a little. Get myself pumped up for this watch-along. I'll see you back here at 2:30 for the big game today. Let's go and out-farm the farmers. Come on, you Spurs. Let's go.
Let's go.
Sorry. How rude, actually. No, not let's go. I appreciate every single one of you guys at home as well who have also given up your day to be here with us, support us, get involved with the conversation. So thank you very much, all of you guys at home. How bloody rude of me. I wouldn't blame you if you unsubscribed for me being that rude there. I really do apologize. And also the people who've gone the extra mile today as well. Dark Sun G, Georgie Hill, El Dante, Q7, Faz Radfar, and Blaine Devlin. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. And Brian Timlin, good to see you, sir. Now, I feel better. Now I feel like I can leave the show. So, guys, thank you very much. Run up the likes on your way out. See you back here for the watch long. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Let's break some tractors today.